Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Star Wars The Expanded Universe Book Talk with Dorn Geek. I am your host, Dorn Geek. And today, I don't know why I did that so big that time. And today, we're going to start the Jedi Academy trilogy. This is one of the more important parts of the timeline. It establishes something really big, so we should get right started talking about it. Let's go. Yes, we are talking about Jedi Search, the first book in the Jedi Academy trilogy, the first book. This book was published in February of 1994, and you can't really pin down that there's several of these books that for whatever reason here have not been able to pin down like a real publishing date. I don't know exactly why. Written by the wonderful Kevin J. Anderson. Not that he doesn't have his quirks. Okay, so again, I mentioned this about Timothy Zahn, and I'm going to be fair about it. Kevin J. Anderson, Timothy Zahn, both wonderful writers. Okay, I take nothing away from them. They're wonderful. Both of them have a little bit of a quirk. Different quirks for each one, but each one definitely has a quirk. Okay? And we're going to explore those quirks. No, we're not. I am not going to get into a deep, writing style thing. But I will say that they are two authors that fall in love with a particular thing and then feel like, and then do it. Now they do it fairly well, but it's still like fairly noticeable and sometimes gets in the way of things. Anyways. Let's look at the timeline. We are now at 11 ABY, 11 years after the Battle of Yavin. Now, to give you a little bit more of an idea there, okay? Not only are we 11 years after the Battle of Yavin, but we are also 7 years after Return of the Jedi, okay? So, the things that we have gone through together as readers, as watchers, as fans of the Star Wars universe are immense at this point. We're over a decade outside of where we started. Okay, if you consider episode 4 the starting point, which I think it's fair to do that because that was the first movie. We're now 11 years away from that. And so our characters have grown. We've introduced some new characters. We're going to introduce even more new characters. And we're not so far removed from it. We're only 2 years after the Thrawn books, but we are removed from it. Okay, let's look at the ages of our heroes. Luke and Leia, the Skywalker twins, are 30 years old. Han wasn't even that old when we started episode 4, when we first met Han Solo. So Luke and Leia, it's been 11 years since we met them. They're 30 now. Mara Jade, couple of years younger, and yes, we are going to actually see Mara Jade in this trilogy. Mara Jade is 28 now. So she's just a couple of years younger than the Skywalker twins. We know from the Thrawn books that she has been through like a lot. And we're going to get to see her again, find out more about her again. Han Solo is now 40. Oh, Han, you're 40 now. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But Han Solo is where I feel like that's a good age of like combination experience and all that. Like 30 still a little bit too young for you to know, for you to not know that you don't know things. 40, you're like, yeah, I'm like, whatever. I don't know things. And then we have the solo twins, Jason and Jaina. They're just two. Oh, Jason and Jaina being little 2-year-olds. It's so wonderful. Those little wonderful 2-year-olds. And they're actually going to play a part in the story. Just there's a reason I'm mentioning them, okay? Lando Calrissian is now the age of the answer. Lando Calrissian is 42 years old. Dapper as ever, wonderful as ever. Lando Calrissian is going to be Lando for a long time. I will make sure and tell you when there's going to be a change in who Lando is. And then we're going to introduce a new character. We're going to introduce a couple new characters, but this particular new character I want to really talk about is Kip Duran. Kip Duran, we're going to meet him. He's going to be about 18. And he is going to be a new character that we are going to focus on quite a bit in this book. It's going to be wonderful. You're not going to be able to miss him. Don't worry about that. Let's talk about some major places that we are going to visit in this book. We're going to visit Kessel. We're going to visit the spice mines of Kessel. Kessel, so when this book was written, this was the first time anybody was really exploring Kessel. Before that, it was a throwaway mention line at the very beginning of episode 4, and we knew nothing about Kessel. So when you read this, try and put yourself in that mindset. We're also going to visit the Maw Cluster. And if ever there was a cluster, I just amused myself too much with that. If ever there was a cluster, this is that cluster. But so yeah, we're going to visit the Maw Cluster. You're going to get to learn a little about it. Important place. Don't miss it. Don't ignore it. Don't pass it by. And then, of course, how can we do a Star Wars book, movie, TV show, anything without at least thinking about, but probably visiting and talking about in great detail, Coruscant? Where is Coruscant at this point? What has happened? You got to think that Coruscant in recent history, in the last 2-3 years, has been a tumultuous place. And then we're going to go back to an old favorite, Yavin 4, the moon, the fourth moon of the Yavin planet, the fourth moon out from the planet Yavin, the gas giant. Yavin 4, you'll remember this as the Rebel base in episode 4. You will remember this as the place where Chewie did not get his medal. Eel Shah. You might also learn something new here, and we're going to visit a brand new planet, the planet of Eel Shah. This is a cool planet that has a rarely used terrain in the Star Wars universe. So it's an interesting place, and we're going to go back to yet another planet and spot that was important to us in the original trilogy. We're going to go back to Bespin, and we're going to find out something new about Bespin. We're going to expand on some things that we heard about in The Empire Strikes Back. Bespin will become a more expanded place. Let's look at our major characters and relationships. We have Han Solo. You already know what he looks like, so I'm giving you a look at Moruth Duel. Moruth Duel. Look at that guy. Look at him. His you're going to find out what that picture is all about. So I'm not going to say too much about it as we go here, but yeah, the relationship between Han and Maruth Duel, definitely one to watch for. Then Luke Skywalker and his relationship with the New Republic as a government entity. Okay. This is something that we didn't really get a whole lot of in the original trilogy because they were the rebellion, right? They were the alliance to restore the Republic, but now we're going to get to see Luke deal with them as a government. Then Luke, a lot of Luke relationships in this book. This book is very Luke heavy for those of you who are Luke Skywalker fans. His relationship with a new character, Gan Torres. Gan Torres, plays a pivotal part in this first book, and it's read carefully when you're on the Gan Torres parts. Just read carefully. Luke Skywalker and Streen. We're gonna meet another new character named Streen, and that interaction, that relationship is going to give you a different feel from the Luke and Gan Torres relationship. And it's really a good juxtaposition there. We have to talk about Leia and her family and Leia's duties. I said duty. I'm sorry, I'm a child sometimes. So, Leia's governmental duties and her family, and then we're going to meet a new a character from the Thrawn books again, Winter and the Solo twins, and how they are brought together and what they mean to each other is going to be something. I don't think you can miss it necessarily, but it's going to be something to watch out for. More major characters and relationships. Let's look at the relationship between Han Solo, Chewbacca the Wookiee, and Kip Duran, our new character. Han, Chewie, and Kip. And the interesting parts about this, and I'm spoiling a little bit, but it doesn't last very long, so it won't matter that much. How they meet. That's the big thing, and the relationship that they create, particularly Han and Kip. Okay. Han Solo and a relationship with a character called Quizux. Or Quizu. I never know how to pronounce that. But there's a look at an artist rendition of Quizu in, I'm just going to call her Quizu, in the slideshow there. And how does Han relate to her? Things of that nature. And then a new character, Natasi Dala. And Natasi Dala's relationship with Grand Moff Tarkin, and what that relationship means, what that relationship is, and how important that relationship is to Dala, because we know Tarkin's dead. And then we're going to have a relationship between Gan Torres and a person that Gan Torres refers to as the Dark Man. This is a big important thing for Gan Torres that we're going to really have to, you're going to have to think about it a lot. And you want to read in detail what he says about the Dark Man. And then Luke's relationship with another of our new characters, Kip Duran. in this relationship and where it starts, where it's going, how it's going to kind of quickly evolve. And then Chewbacca. And we're going to go into something that you always hear about with Chewbacca, right? There's a particular thing that is very defining for Chewie that we always hear about. And up to this point, when these books were written, you never really, like, it wasn't a big thing that ever got mentioned, but it's going to get mentioned a little more, and we're going to see it affect Chewie. Let's talk about major events that are going to go on in this book that you need to watch out for. The Kessel Run explanation. Why would we say that Han made the Kessel Run in under 12 parsecs when a parsec is a distance? Now, there's a chance that it's just George Lucas messing up. But if you're going to justify it, 12 parsecs is approximately 39 light years, by the way. The spice mine's danger, all the danger that's in the spice mines of Kessel. This is, oh man. This is one of the coolest parts of the book. I'll just leave it at that and leave you with the image. What is in the spice mines? Okay. What is that danger? What shows up because of that danger? What about the mines is so natural? And I think that's really the biggest part of this. We're going to have Luke discover an interesting way to gauge force potential. Okay, up until this point, this is before midichlorians. This is before any of that. We're going to have some discoveries. Wedge actually helps with this. So be watching for mentions of Wedge. I'm not talking about him very specifically, but anyways. We're going to discover two ways to gauge the force, and one of them is a lot more interesting than the other one. I'll just say it that way. We're going to have an interesting, and I'm very curious as to where Kevin J. Anderson came up with this. Why, Kevin? Why? But there's going to be a very interesting theory here on how you were supposed to care for force-sensitive children. And to be fair to Kevin J. Anderson, this may have started in Dark Empire. This may not be a Kevin J. Anderson idea. This may be just a continuation of stuff from Dark Empire. But it's kind of a weird theory. Anyways, and then Lando is going to have an adventure. Well, Lando, what kind of adventure are you going to have? Well, you'll have to read about it and find out. All I'm going to tell you is that there will be an adventure involving Lando Calrissian. Let's move on to some more major events. I have put this picture up already once, but I'm going to reinforce it because I think it's very mysterious, and I was using it for a very particular reason, even though it might not be the exact thing. The secrets of the spice mines of Kessel. And again, I'm talking about what is there. What is in the spice mines? Now you probably have a guess as to something that's in the spice mines, but there's more to it. There's a really interesting series of events and conversations in this book about the disillusionment of scientists, the disconnect between their work and the use of their work. This very much comes back, is sort of a Jurassic Park kind of idea. It's worried about what you can do that you weren't worried about what you should do kind of thing. We're going to have, I mentioned this already a little bit, but we're going to have a really horrific moment for Chewbacca. And this moment, this story within it kind of breaks your heart. Okay. We're going to find out about, I told you Maw installation was an important place for us to visit. You're going to find out the purpose of the Maw installation. Why is it there? Why was it built? Where it was built? This is the mystery of Maw installation. And you're going to find out that purpose, and you're going to find out what things lie within Maw installation. Why is it where it is? And what's there? What is there is a really big part of this. Like, it's hard, I think, to emphasize this too much. And then I'm sort of giving away something here a little tiny bit, but oh well. A title for the Academy. This is the first book of the Jedi Academy trilogy. So we're obviously going to be working our way towards a Jedi Academy somewhere in there. You're going to find out what title Luke decides on for his Jedi Academy. Well, thank you so much, everybody. That is my book talk on the first book of the Jedi Academy trilogy, Jedi Search. Next up is book 2, Dark Apprentice. Thank you so much, everybody. I will be back for Dark Apprentice in our next video. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening and watching. May the Force be with you.